Hi guys, it's Malt Whiskey here. I'm gonna sit down and chat with you for a little bit. This is my first official day on this account. I'm redoing a rebranding. First day on this account, it's official. This is November 24th. I want to just sit down and chat with you all. Ow. You got a bite. We're gonna make some tea, chill out, and chat for a little bit. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about myself. My personal name, Charlie. Prefer to be called Malt Whiskey on here. I'm a content creator. My day job in the real world is I am a EMT. I live in northern Oklahoma. Go Pokes, pistols firing. I'm a graduate from OSU Stillwater and OSU OKC. I got my EMT license in Oklahoma City. I got my bachelor's in art up here in Stillwater. Kind of bouncing around, living life as it is. So something like stuff I do on a day-to-day basis. I am a nut for 3D printing. I love my 3D printers. You can check out my art page at inkypawprintstudio.com. That's where my shop is. You can also find me under the same username on Etsy. I sell a lot of 3D prints, typically in the furry fandom, head bases for the furry community. I do some cosplay stuff. Sometimes the dragons are kind of oversaturated in the market right now, so I'm not having such a great time with them. Just usual chit-chat stuff. I'm not very good at the social media stuff, so I'm gonna struggle bust through this. You're gonna check out lots of content here. Let's see, what do I do for fun? I love to read. I'm a big book hoarder. I guess you can call me a book dragon because I hoard the hell out of books. I am a digital artist. I'm professionally trained in printmaking with Japanese woodblock prints, relief carving, and it kind of looks like a stamp, and you stamp it on paper and it comes out a pretty image. I am trained in that. I am a avid graphite fan. I've worked a little bit in pastels. I'm learning acrylic painting. I love oil paints, but they're such a pain in the butt to work with. Yeah, I love oil, but it's kind of a pain because you have to have special ventilation system because the turpentine and the paint thinner is so noxious. Kind of the same thing I have issues with a 3D printer. One of my 3D printers, speaking of, is a resin printer, which an SLS printer, and it stinks. Oh, I hate it. Ichigo can't stand the smell of it, so I try to use it at night while she's in bed. I am very nocturnal, so seeing me awake during the daytime is really weird. I'm working on shifting shifts and getting back into working EMT stuff now that I've graduated school. Sorry about that. I totally forgot to grab a cup. Let's go Washington, D.C. Nice little cherry blossoms. I love cherry blossoms. A little something about me. I am polyamorous, so therefore I have multiple partners. I'm going to talk a lot about polyamory on this channel. I have my spouse, Ichigo, as well as my boyfriend, Jiko. Never pronounce this right. Jikawi. Jiko is what I call him. Jiko is my boyfriend. He lives up in Missouri. My spouse, Ichigo, lives with me here in Oklahoma. We are working on moving somewhere prettier, snow, cold. I miss cold. I love Oklahoma, but I absolutely hate it here because it's just too stinking hot. Oh, I hate the summers here. No, you may not fall. This is my favorite tea. Oh, speaking of this tea, I can't find this tea anymore unless you find it in a mixed batch of green and black tea. This is the black tea. If anybody can help me find this, I would love you. I hate the green tea, but I love the black tea. This is what I drank constantly when I lived in England. I spent 2 months overseas on my own little senior trip, living with friends. Weird situation. Not the best situation. We'll go about this another time. And it's just like, I lived overseas for a little bit. But anyways, my partners. I have Ichigo as my spouse. She lives here in Oklahoma. My boyfriend, he lives in Missouri. I see him every couple months. You might see him in some of my content. We'll see. I'm a furry by heart. I am depending on the day, I could be a 3-tailed kitsune, be a horse. Depends on the day. I'm an EMT. Stuff like that. I have a cat, Toriel. She's hiding around here somewhere. I think she's in hiding with Ichigo while Ichigo plays shoot of Dungeons & Dragons, so like a tabletop RPG. It's a heist. They're doing a heist. They're trying to steal something from some tech business. I'm not sure on the whole details. I'm not part of this game. I love D&D. That's actually how my spouse and I met. We met playing D&D with my ex. My ex talked me into the game. My spouse was the one running the game, the DM, the Dungeon Master. And Ichigo noticed that I was And I'm just like, I can't get into it. I can't get into it. It's all about rolling dice, and I love to role play. And so she's like, okay, I'm gonna take you out, and we're gonna role play back and forth, do theater of the mind, and less dice. And so I hate math. I hate math. I'm terrible at math. I swear I have dyscalculia. We went to the tea shop. It's now closed. This is Ichigo used to take me out for tea, and we'd do theater of the mind role plays, and we'd sit and talk and role play things out. And I had a shadowmancer. If anybody used Doctor Who, you know, the Vashna Narada, these shadow beings, the hey, who turned the lights? Mine was a manipulator of shadows. So like, if her shadows ate someone, her shadows multiplied. They absorbed that shadow, and so more shadows and more shadows and more shadows. Anyway, so Ichigo and I used to go to the tea shop and role play things out. Well, friends used to watch us play, and they're like, why is Charlie sitting by so-and-so? They don't put it together. Charlie should be Charlie needs to be cuddling on Ichigo. And people just shipped us because we work so well together. And we're about a year and a half into the game, and Ichigo and I start having feelings. Oh no. So this is where polyamory comes in. And my ex was not the nicest person, and so he was not a fan of me falling in love with someone else. Go figure. Canada for conference. I don't remember what the conference was. And came back with the fun idea of, hey, why don't we try this polyamory thing? So you can date Ichigo, and I can date whoever I want. Well, our boundaries were not very clear. And so he started dating one of the other players. One of the other players in our campaign. Well, he decides to move her in with us. We have a queen-size bed, and it fits both of us pretty averagely. Well, she moves in, and she also brings her dog. Her dog always sleeps with her. And so, it's 3 people in a queen bed, plus a big Labrador. Labrador kicks and kicks and kicks, and I eventually gave up and just left and went and slept on the couch. And that's where things started going wrong. And there was a bunch of drama, there was a lot of really bad depression, there was a hospitalization involved. I tried to unalive myself. Thank you, Ichigo, for saving me from that terrible headspace. You are a blessing, dear. Mental health sucks. My ex broke up with me. I started solo dating Ichigo. We stopped doing polyamory for a while. A few years later, we get married, and our theme is Dungeons & Dragons. We've got dice on the cake, we got minifigs on the cake. She had D20 cufflinks, and I had a D20 put in my bouquet. We were not out as trans at the time. We got married. A couple years later, Jiko and I start flirting and talking and start getting feelings. And like, Ichigo and I agreed upon that I'm allowed to flirt online. I just can't get involved or mess around with anyone. Jiko and I start talking, and we're flirting and stuff, and then we start catching feels. Years pass, and I invite him from Missouri down to Oklahoma to come spend a weekend with us. Stuff happened that I can't mention on here. His and my anniversary is November 5th. Remember, the 5th of November. Oh, speaking of anniversaries, mine and Ichigo's anniversary is Valentine's Day, and that was my idea. Everyone complains to Ichigo, goes, oh, you're so clever, you can never forget that. And Ichigo's like, it was Charlie's idea. Funny story, I'll have to tell you guys another time. Anyways, so Ichigo and I are dating, and stuff goes on. We just passed our 3-year anniversary for Ichigo and I. Ichigo and I have been dating going on 9 years, and we've been married for coming on 6, dating for 9. Yeah, we're pretty normal people. So it was nice meeting you. Hope you all have a lovely day. I'll catch you around.